Well, here's a very interesting find. This is the horn of a pronghorn antelope. And yes, it is a horn, not an antler. Antlers, like you see on a deer or an elk, they grow and they get shed every year. Horns are made of a bony core that grows out of the skull and has a keratinous sheath on it. And that's what this is. This is the keratin sheath. However, interestingly enough, pronghorn antelope are one of, if not the only, horned animals that do shed their horn coverings once a year, which is really interesting. Although that's not the only thing that's interesting about pronghorns. They are literally one of a kind. They're the last surviving members of their family, Antilocapridae, which is a sister family to Giraffidae, and together they make up the superfamily Giraffoidea. So yeah, the pronghorn is related to giraffes. It's not even an antelope. We call it the American antelope. But yeah, it's, like I said, Antilocapridae. In fact, the scientific name of pronghorn antelope is Antilocapra americanus. We do have quite a fossil record of them here in North America. They evolved somewhere about the Miocene when they separated from giraffes. And one of my favorite fossil genre is Hexameryx. Yeah, Hexameryx. I think that one's pretty cool. It's got 6 horns, as the name might imply. But yeah, this is really, really cool. Pretty sure this one is a shedding and not off of a dead one. But yeah, really neat. This might go on my review table. You might see this in the background of some future videos. Hey everybody, welcome back to Gideon Stuff. Today we've got a list video. We're counting down my top 5 best folding knives under $50. Inflation sucks, right? It affects everyone. It affects every community. It affects every industry, and the knife hobby is no different, right? We have seen some things get pretty ridiculous in price recently. However, luckily for us, there are companies making plenty of amazing knives under $50, and today we're going to go over 5 of my favorites. Before we get into the list proper, let's go over some honorable mentions. First honorable mention is Kubi as a brand. I don't have any Kubi knives on this list, which was kind of surprising to me, but knives like their Titius, titties, is a fantastic knife, and it's under $50. One problem I do have with Kubi, though, is that they consistently bead blast their D2 steel. I don't really like that. I think that's a great detriment. It makes the steel rust very readily. And the only other option they offer is coated blades, which I know everyone, not a whole lot of people are a fan of. So we're not going to talk about any Kubis on this list, but Kubi is very, very good. They make a lot of great knives under $50. And recently they've been using some different steels like AUS 10A or AUS 10, which is good. I think they're still keeping those knives under $50. They do still bead blast it quite frequently, which is not good. But yeah, Kubi is amazing. The next honorable mention I want to give is to this knife here. This is the Cold Steel SR1 Light. And last time I checked, these were right around $50. The reason this is an honorable mention, not on the list, is that this isn't necessarily an EDC knife, right? This is a tank. This is something else, but I absolutely love it. This is a lot of knife for your money. You get the triad lock. You can get this in a Tonto or a clip point. This is 8CR13 steel. Not the greatest steel, but look at how much of it you have. This is a fantastic knife, and it's a cheaper version of one of Cold Steel's most popular models. I absolutely love this knife. In fact, interesting story, this knife was the second review I ever uploaded to my channel. This was the second video I ever made on this channel, and it is the most watched long-form video on this channel to this day, which I find to be very interesting. And I want to know from you guys, have you guys seen that video? Did you see it when it originally came out? I want to know how long some of you have been around In fact, heck, just let me know, how long have you been watching this channel? This was made in the days when I had the red background. The video for this was made in the days when I had the red background, which, give you guys a little bit of a behind the scenes detail, was actually just a red shirt stretched over a table. I was very unprofessional and low budget back then. And nothing has changed. But yeah, the Cold Steel SR1 Light is an absolutely fantastic tank of a knife for not a whole lot of money. So I love that, but we're not putting it on the list completely because I know that's overkill for a lot of people. Alrighty, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the list itself. We're starting off with a classic, the CJRB feldspar. This is an amazing knife. I love the feldspar. You guys know how much I love the feldspar. I rant and rave, and I love this knife. I really, really love this knife. There's lots of different versions of this available. These versions here have AR RPM 9 steel and flat scales. This is kind of the tactical version right here, in my opinion. You can also get a mini version. Not this one anymore. This was an S35VN exclusive. But the good old regular feldspar is an amazing knife. These came in at like $35, $37. Contour G10 scales that are just beautiful. This knife is so comfortable in hand. Gorgeous stonewashed D2 blade. This blade is an amazing shape for EDC. The feldspar is an enduring classic, and I believe, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember seeing Artisan announce that they were moving all of their current knives to AR RPM 9. Now, I don't know if that means they discontinued this version of the feldspar and are phasing it out with this version, which I kind of hope not, because I love the contoured scales. But if you go and you check different retailers, they still have the D2 ones listed, and that might just be because they had, you know, extra stock of the D2, and it's taking a while for that stock to be bought up before the AR RPM 9 comes in. But even the D2 versions, I absolutely love. AR RPM 9 is a better steel, in my opinion, but I mean, these knives here are about $45. The D2 ones are about, you know, under 40. Fantastic, fantastic knives. You can't go wrong with these. They've been around for a while, but they're just fantastic. They're really, really great. And I love the pivot collars. I talk about this every time I talk about the feldspar. I love the pivot collars. It's such an easy way to make a budget knife feel classy, and I'm so glad that CJRB does it. Also, the pocket clip that CJRB uses is a fantastic clip, and I really, really like it. Alrighty, moving on. Number 4 spot. This is a knife that is pretty new to me, but I know a lot of you have seen it. This is the Migiron Moyaro, which I have no idea what that name means. I've tried Googling it and to, no avail. But yeah, this is a very interesting knife for under $50. Just about $47. Titanium clip, 14C 28N blade, fantastic action, G10 scales, steel liners, pretty comfortable in hand, very useful, drop point blade. You can choke up in here. Flat grind on that blade. The action, again, is stupid. Reversible pocket clip, which is awesome. Very solid feeling knife. Migirons, they feel very solid. Maybe that's because they have kind of blocky scales, but really, really good feel. Now, I will say, this knife was not very sharp out of the box. And, if you're buying knives in this tier, you might be a newbie to knife world, right? And you might not be the greatest sharpener, so that's going to be something that you're going to be pretty disappointed with. However, if you're going to be in the hobby, I think it's beneficial to learn how to sharpen. Not be a professional sharpener, but just know how to sharpen. So, practice, practice, practice. The knife itself, though, is excellent. There are many versions of this available, blacked out versions. I think they've got some green scaled versions, some white scaled versions. Anything you could think of and want. Yeah, it's a very, very EDC-minded knife. Pretty cool, and especially for under $50, you get a lot of really nice details, such as the titanium pocket clip. Very, very cool knife. Next up, this is a knife that I don't think is on a whole lot of people's radar. This is a knife I absolutely love. I don't see anyone talk about it. I don't see anyone else talk about it, which is a shame. The Senko Tainan, and yes, this is mine that I have made some odd mods to. I love this knife. I absolutely love this knife. This is a fantastic knife. $47, steel frame lock, 10CR blade, which is basically VG10. This is one of the snappiest knives I have ever felt. Look at that action. Yeah, I kid you not. This thing is... Oh, that is so satisfying. I love the action on this thing. Very slim. It's got a good weight to it, you know, with the steel scales. Reversible clip. I am probably going to be switching this clip out. I've said that every time I've showed this knife, but I haven't done it yet. Good jimping on the top. Look, if you're looking for a small to medium-sized knife that can fit into a large variety of scenarios, you know, this is kind of a classy knife. You could wear this to church, but it's also just a really good EDC knife that you can take anywhere. Generous finger choil. I love this knife. I use this knife a lot. The 10CR steel is amazing. I think the reason it's not very popular is that people don't like steel frame locks. Personally, I do. I love knives that have metal handles, but yeah, very, very nice knife. Again, oh, that action is just stupid good. I mean, listen to that detent go back. Yeah, that's fantastic. I absolutely love this knife. I wish more people talk about it. You can get it in black, or you can get it in gray scales. Just a really, really neat knife, and I wish it was more popular. Definitely check that one out. Next up, everyone loves button locks. I know. The Cinecut Serene. This is an absolutely fantastic knife. Whoa, focus up here, camera. I love this thing. Aluminum scales, D2 blade, button lock. The aluminum scales feel fantastic. You can get them in blue, black, silver, or red. You can get coated blades with the black and red handle. Multiple deployments, the flipper tab, thumb studs, and the action is just fantastic. Good jimping here, fantastic full flat grind, drop point blade. The ergonomics work out really, really nicely. I absolutely love this knife, and I'm not even the biggest fan of button locks, but this knife absolutely does it right, and the price is just so good, like $47 for this knife. The aluminum is, I don't know why, but aluminum or any type of metal handle paired with a button lock is a combination that I just absolutely love. I don't know what it is about that combo, but it sure tickles me. Reversible pocket clip, making this a fantastic option for righties or lefties because that button lock is very lefty friendly. It's a good size knife too. I appreciate that, full size. It's just, it checks pretty much every box. And I know we've had 2 Cinecuts in a row on this list. Check out Cinecut. They have a lot of really, really excellent knives under $50. I think they're doing some fantastic work. But yeah, this is a knife that I've been using the heck out of, as you can probably tell from all the scratches and dings and dirtiness on the blade. Love this knife, and I mean the blue just looks amazing, absolutely amazing. So Cinecut Serene, definitely check it out. And our last knife on this list is another button lock, the CJRB Pyrite. This knife is fantastic. Now, this version here was a little more than $50. Actually, both of these were. These are both special versions, but you can get the basic versions of this knife in steel scales for like $49.57, $49.95, something like that. So just barely under $50. However, the G10 versions do come in at close to the $45 mark. The CJRB Pyrite has taken the world by storm. 2 blade shapes to choose from now. Both of them are excellent. I love this knife. It's a smaller knife, but the ergonomics feel fantastic. There is a larger version, but I think it's more expensive than $50. Just a fantastic button lock knife. I've recently reviewed this version. I reviewed this version a long time ago. This is one of my favorite knives that has come out recently. I absolutely love it. I mean, I don't even know what to say. Everything that needs to be said about the Pyrite has already been said by other people. It's just really, really dang good. And there's no getting around that. I am a huge fan of this knife. I think a lot of people are. They are making hundreds of different versions of this knife. I'm hoping to see some more blade shapes in the future. Maybe a Tonto, maybe a clip point. I don't know. I think they could do so much with this knife, and I think they will. And I'm very, very excited to see what they do. So, there are our recommendations. Let's go ahead and put them out here on the table. All of these knives are absolutely fantastic. You can't go wrong with any of them. I personally carry and use these knives frequently. These are some of my favorite knives to carry, in fact. And it's not just because they're inexpensive, right? I know a lot of people carry inexpensive knives because they don't have to worry about messing them up. For me, that's not really a factor. Why I carry these knives so much is because they're just really, really good. And that's a glowing endorsement, I think, when I carry these budget knives as much as I do, not just because they're cheap, but because they're good. And that's going to be it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, leave it a like, comment below, and subscribe. Let me know what your favorite under $50 knives are. I would love to hear in the comments below. Anyways, I've been Gideon. I'll see you in the next one. Adios.